name's Alison. I'm coming to you from a wet, miserable and cold Leeds, and this is the August 2021 clip, so it's nearly August, it's late July. Anyway, I want to do a clip about balance today. Balance is super important to help us safely navigate as lives. It enables us to manage trips, slips, uneven terrain, slopes and stairs without falling. But it declines with age. And not only that, but it's also directly affected by this notion of use it or lose it. Well, the question is, how would you lose it by not using it? Well, just the act of inactivity alone will compromise balance, but also if you've got a super sort of really guarded approach to walking. Now it's completely understandable if you've fallen, but if you're very guarded and careful about your walking, it can affect balance because the balance is not challenged enough. So, the classic, typical way to practice balance is to stand on one leg. Although I am going to suggest at the end of this clip some alternatives to that. But I've also got a few suggestions just to kind of beef up the way that you stand on two legs and stand on one leg. So I'm going to look at that first, if I may. So, because the thing is, although balance is balance, the act of standing on one leg is balance plus strength, because you've got to be strong enough in the muscles in your bottom and your leg to hold you up. So, when you're standing, two legs to go to one, think about your ankles. You want to be properly in both feet, and most of the weight's in your heels, but a little bit in the balls of the feet and the toes. Your knees are fully open if you can manage it. Your hips are fully open. You're not tipping in the pelvis. I'll post on the end of this clip something specifically about standing, actually. Your rib cage is on top of your pelvis. This is the pelvis. You have, as well as standing tall in the spine, be wide across your collarbones. And the last thing, as best you can manage, your head is on top of your body. So I know we all do it, but and some people find this easy in us, but it's harder to stand tall and stand up if you're leaning a little bit forward. So that's the first thing. Stand strong into two legs. Okay, and an assist for the one leg, you might need a chair or a balance. Okie dokie, right then. So you've got that for safety, and have it to your side so you don't just end up leaning into it. So the chair is to your side. So the first thing, and I'm actually going to do easier first, stand into the first leg and then just have your toes giving you some support on the other leg. Okay, hold it and count. Let's say count to 5, and then with time and with practice you could count for more. Don't hold your breath, will you? Okay, the second one is you're standing on one leg and you're channeling your inner flamingo. So you've got the support of the second leg on top of the first. Again, think about your counting and your breathing. Harder still, and you're going to do one as opposed to the other, not all of these suggestions, you're standing on one leg. And here's a little tip for you. Holding this leg up is hard work. So you're straight into one leg and you want to sense that you're being held up by the back of the thigh on that leg in the air. Okay? So yeah, obviously do both legs, and be aware that you might actually be better on one leg than the other, and sometimes that can be a strength thing going on. Right, now you really must bear in mind that wobbling a bit is absolutely not a sign of poor balance. That's a sign that the balance receptors in your ankles are doing their thing. And if you do harder versions, you might get even more wobble. So if you go really tricky, so you're standing on one leg with your leg in the air, and then maybe as you close your eyes, Or it sounds a little crazy, but you can just close one eye. Weird, but possible. Or two eyes. And then I don't know if you can see on me, there's me with two eyes closed. Look at the wobble. I've lost my balance, haven't I? And there's, with my eyes open, there's less wobble. Because my balance receptors now having to work less hard. So yeah, eyes closed, even harder still, and I promise this is the last version. Stand on one leg, second leg up, stand tall, close the eyes and rotate. So you're destabilizing your balance even more. It's so tempting to hold my breath when I'm talking, and yeah, I can't do that for any longer. But that extra movement gives you more challenge. Okay, here's a couple of alternatives, but you'd still be standing up. So the first thing is you stand on your metaphorical tightrope. You don't need to walk on it, just stand on it. Now just to bear in mind, if you're a little bit tight in your hips, standing like that isn't actually very easy. So please bear in mind that this version's not for everyone, but that's a nice extra thing what you can do for your balance, still standing tall and eyes forward rather than looking down. Okay, so you would swap your legs. Again, you can count, maybe start by counting to 5, and then you can see how you build up with time. Two other ones are to walk around on your tiptoes. I don't know if I'm going off camera there. Or walk round on your heels. There's a load of other useful stuff with heel walking, but do bear in mind this one's a bit trickier. Okie dokie, so there you have some balance challenges. Okay, I'd like to just give you a couple of suggestions if you don't stand, or if you either can't stand very well or it's just not an option. Well, the first thing is, now this is a bit cumbersome, but if you're ever in the gym you could do it, and is to use a fit ball. Okie dokie. Now they're cumbersome, but they're really inexpensive. Okay, so you want, there's a safety thing here. They're really quite wobbly. Mine's deflated, so it's easier to sit on. The more blowny uppy they are, the more unsafe they are, and you need to think about having a wall behind you to steady you, or to the side. And what you can do here is just lift your one foot then the other, and honestly it is so tricky. It's not so much the ankle receptor balance, it's more trunk stability challenge that you're challenging. And the other thing you can do here is you can use this as a way of just mobilising your feet, because having supple, flexible feet is good in itself. So you can point your toes, point your heels, or roll your feet in and out. Okay, so what that will do is, whilst it's not directly balanced, it kind of makes it easier for your feet to navigate the terrain of the floor, be that outside or maybe just steps and uneven surfaces or carpets in your own home. Okie dokie. And one last thing, another way to challenge balance, if you haven't got a fit ball, I mean, I appreciate these things are not ideal, but if you are able to lie down but you're not standing, then if you lie down on your side, either like this, or for those of you that are doing these sort of things anyway, know this to be true, that this is also going to be a balance challenge. Just to stand like this, again, it's not so much your ankle balance, but it is balance in itself. And you can sort of lift up an arm or lift up a leg. So these things that you might do in the context of your Pilates classes are doing balance as well as other stuff. Well, that's it. So I just want to go over finally these ankle mobilisation exercises. So heel, toe, great one. Seated or standing, ankle circles. And finally, eversion, inversion of the feet. Look how that affects the legs. Movement in the ankles and the feet has a massive effect on what happens right up into the pelvis. So that's it for the clip. I hope that's okay. And I'm tapping onto the end one that talks about how ideal standing, how you might stand well. So cheerio. Hi there. I do hope you found this clip useful. We've got plenty more on the site, and for now I've suggested another one for you to watch. If you want to know more about what we do in Leeds, then do visit the website at pilates-leeds.com, and right now you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We can do this all again next month. Cheerio!